welcome back. So today we're showing you our finished makes for this month, which if you've seen our previous video, it was the Jennifer Lauren Handmade Pippi Pinafore. So we've made 3 different versions and we're really happy with them. But I'm going to skip to Barbara first because I know she made the most changes to her pinafore and the pattern.
Yes, I've got quite a story. So I've done quite a few things differently, so I'll just sort of take it back to the start. And I was going to make an A-line skirt, and just because I sort of thought I would like that better, but it got me into trouble a little bit. So I used I made the size 10.
Do you remember what?
10B for the B cup, because there's different cups, so that's why B. And I used the cut and spread method on the skirt, removed the dart from the back piece. BB is here too. And removed the dart from the back, and I also removed the pleat on the front. So it's got, next to the pockets, it's got 2 pleats. And I removed that first, and I think that might have been the cause of all my issues later, because I feel like what I've done right probably is I've used I tried to keep the waist the same, but I think to accommodate for that extra space that you need sort of around your hips, that is sort of calculated to be there. So I took the whole pleat.
Yeah, you probably needed to take it out of the waist rather than the whole strip.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I took the whole strip out. So what I then figured out much later, after cutting the fabric out and stitching the bib and waistband to the skirt, I then found out that the front skirt piece was too small. It's much smaller than the back. And my bib was then too wide to fit onto that, so it was really sort of, if that was sort of my side seam of the front, the bib piece would sort of sit there, so it looked really awkward. And at that time I just did not know how to fix it. I was like, how does that not work? I went back to the pattern, checked again, I cut everything, like I couldn't really figure out what was wrong. But this was already quite far into the making process, so I didn't have enough fabric to cut a new either front or back piece. I would have cut in the sort of the
cut a new skirt piece.
Front piece. Would have cut that again, but I didn't have enough fabric, and I wasn't sure what to do at that point. I already thought, I don't think I can finish this. I already saw myself sitting here in a completely different outfit than you guys. And then my husband suggested, what if you turn your skirt the other way around? And that felt really wrong. I was like, no, I cannot have my back as the front. But I did, and it actually really worked really well for some reason. So I need to go back. We need to look at this together if I ever want to make this again. Yeah. And we need to all do it together, because I don't know.
I think
what
maybe
it was.
It's just taking the whole, I don't know.
It's something just didn't go right. And so the only thing that I now have, there's a few things that changed because of that. My side seams are a little bit further to the back instead of sitting nice on the side, and it's also like slightly sort of winging out to the back. So the skirt unfortunately is off balance, but it's something I can live with. It's
not really noticeable. No, it's not really.
Fine.
It's just because you know it is. That's the issue.
And something you can fix next time. Yeah. What other? Oh yes, of course, the opening. So I stitched the button placket into the skirt, and that was meant to be on the left side, like you guys have. But then because I turned the whole skirt around, it was then on the right side, but I already stitched my bib and straps to the waistband, and that has the opening to the left. I could have redone that and made it to the other side. I just chose to remove the button placket and stitch that side up like a normal seam, and I had a zipper left in my stash, and I just stitched an invisible zipper in, because at that time I already thought, quite a few things went wrong, And so I just put a zipper in, and the tab is now the wrong way around, but that's okay. Again, something I can live with. And I just put a popper on instead of like nice buttons and stuff. It's just a different look.
Yeah, it looks
and
really nice.
It's fine. Another big thing for me was that the fabric is really stretchy. So it's a cotton, but it's got lycra in it, and quite a lot. And it stretches in the length instead of the width. So that made me do some things differently than you would usually do. So one of the things is I've interfaced my bib piece, and I've interfaced the fabric, because I was scared if you would have the straps that would constantly sort of put up in an awkward way, and it doesn't bounce back that well. So it's really like a lycra, really like a lycra
really
type.
Stretchy.
So I didn't want to have that on the bib and on the straps. So I've interfaced that piece. That went all quite well, actually. The straps I've cut horizontally, because if I would have cut that vertically,
you
like the pattern
the
suggested,
in the straps.
it would not work.
No.
But for that reason, and also the same for the waistband, cut that in the same direction, but for that reason I didn't have enough fabric. So I then, this is not, it turned out nice, but I did not decide to do it this way from the start. I just didn't have enough fabric. So what I did is I cut one strap, cut it through half, and then stitched it on a very small seam allowance, probably 5 millimeters. Then turned it inside out, and I've got these thin straps now.
It's nice.
That nobody will notice
cute.
that it's not
they're
the
cute. Yeah.
yeah. And then I decided, I bought like 6 nice black buttons to go with this, but the button is huge compared to this.
Yeah, it would be.
So then I decided to use my poppers again. And
Your massive rose gold popper
yes,
style.
yeah.
You have like shares in rose gold poppers.
Yeah, they should. Yeah, definitely. I can totally want to put these on everything. But these are different ones. These are actually like the jersey type ones.
They look nice though.
Yeah, because they're so tiny, it works really well.
And I think the contrast, it gives you that, like, it lifts the print. It gives you that pop of colour.
Yeah, I was really happy that it sort of turned out that way. And so I feel like with everything there was just that little bit of an extra struggle with it, and it turned out something like really a Pippi Pinafore. The only thing that is really that is sort of this bit,
and that's
because even the waistband I completely sort of cut edges off and like completely module, but completely changed it. But I'm happy with the end result. And sometimes you just start with something and think it's going to be great, and it just doesn't work that way. You just end up with something different.
Which you also made it work.
Yeah, so
you've got a beautiful
I'm really happy with it now. Like I will definitely wear this lots, because I was thinking, like, I'm now wearing it with my Rowan from the previous episode, same as Louise actually. You're wearing your Rowan too. But yeah, for summer this would work too. I was thinking of actually, now that I see these girls in like nice and bright fabrics or colors, I was thinking of that this would go like even with that sort of nice pop fabric, and then even like something like this I would work, I think. Just like a t-shirt, I will wear this loads. And so it works out alright in the end. Sort of that is sort of happy ending, but the road to get there
was very bumpy.
It was, yes, very bumpy.
Full of swear words.
Yes, ups and downs. And I never came this close to actually thinking, I don't know how to make this work. Because it was such a big difference. I was really stuck. So yeah, kudos to my husband, who then said, turn it around. And I really said, no, I cannot do that. But yeah, so nobody will ever see apart from you guys, but don't tell anyone else. So
it's great.
You can wear this and nobody would see that anything has happened. And it's actually quite comfortable now, that extra stretch.
More room for cake.
Exactly. Yeah, then it grows like the right way. Yeah, it sort of stretches that way. I'm thinking if I changed anything else, but I think
You didn't put
that's-
pockets in, that was the only thing.
No, that was the plan, but
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't
No,
do that.
that would have been hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably,
Pockets
that
would
would
be
have
sort
driven
of
you over the
that
edge.
way.
Yeah.
No.
No.
So I'm glad I didn't. It would have been nice. I'll do that next time after we've worked on the idea of the A-line skirt. And then we'll put some pockets in.
Yeah. And a non-stretchy fabric.
In a non-stretchy fabric. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's start with that first.
That might be a good...
I
yeah.
think
Well, you tried it. It could have been... I think also because
Yeah.
the stretch was in the length rather than the width, that probably was also why it was a bit of a pain.
And again, in hindsight, I could have cut
Everything out on the cross grain.
Yeah.
But yeah, never
But
mind.
again, cutting all your pieces on the cross grain is something that feels so.
Well, you can do... Yeah.
It feels like it goes against your, what is the word for that? It goes against your
Like sewing instincts.
yeah,
like,
your
doesn't feel
yeah.
right.
It just feels wrong. But I should have done it
Oh,
probably.
well.
Oh,
Next time.
well.
Next time you'll know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. I'll stick to what the pattern company suggests. Yes. But on to you guys. You look amazing.
Shall I go?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a completely different experience than Barbara. Mine was really... I had a good time sewing it.
Yeah.
I did the... I can't remember what size. Maybe it's like the 20? I don't know. But I did the C cup.
Yeah. Okay.
It might be the 18 or the 20. It's one of those. But it was the C cup. And even though I was an F, it's worked out quite well. Something we've both noted is that the darts come up quite
I
above
noticed that too.
above the nipples. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
it's
a bit-
not quite there.
Or,
Usually
yeah.
it would stop sort
But
of
I quite-
under.
Below, yeah.
But I actually tried it out. When I first did it, I was like, oh, that's a bit high. And then I tried it, and I was like, it didn't look right when I tried to get it to that point.
To
Yeah.
under, yeah.
So then I did it the full length because I was like, she must know what she's doing. So I tried it. She's got a pattern company. And then and it looks right. Like, yeah, it looks right.
Yeah.
It felt wrong, but it looked right.
Yeah.
And I'm quite happy with that. And then the fabric sewed up really nice because it sewed up really lovely. I really like the skirt. Like that detail,
that
and I
shape,
think
yeah.
someone even commented on our Instagram as well of like making it into just a skirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I
easily.
really want to have a go at doing that because
Yeah.
the shape really suits.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you just
works
you
with me
can
really
either
well.
put a zip in it all the way up to the waistband, leave out the button.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
kind of what you've
Yeah.
done.
Yeah,
isn't
and
it,
then
really?
still with the pockets, that would.
Yeah.
It would be quite
really
nice. So I might
yeah.
try that because I
Yeah.
quite like that.
Yeah.
The only issue I had was I sewed up. I was ahead of schedule. I was doing really well, and then I couldn't find the right button.
Yeah.
And I found the right button late. And so even though I was very good, I did really good time management, but I found the right button.
She's just making this
Late.
up. You did this yesterday.
No, I didn't. I found the right button late. So I had all the components, but there's like a certain point and you need the button.
Yeah.
You need the button.
Yeah.
So I stopped. I went on a quest to find buttons, and then it meant that last night I was sewing it, and me and the buttonhole gods weren't getting on.
Oh.
So I had to. This bit went all right.
Yeah.
I just made the buttonhole bit go to the full length. I don't know
Yeah.
if you did it. I did it the full length and then just.
So what I did was I did my buttons for my skirt first, tested it to see if that with the strap would go through, and it did. And then I did it on here. Because
See,
I was like, how the hell am I going to know how wide to do it? But I think that also works.
That worked.
Yeah.
And then
And that fabric is also like a little bit chunkier.
yeah, yours is
Yeah,
Because
mine
this
isn't.
is yours is a
Yeah.
chambray, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it's a bit thinner. Yeah.
So I tested it, but yeah.
Yeah, I did that. I went to the full length because I did put it. You know when you put the buttonhole in the button in the buttonhole bit.
Yeah, you
To
put
get
the
and
strap in
I
it.
put it in and then yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like,
Well, that's
another way.
that's
That works.
that's what I was thinking about doing.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, here, I'm going to make a buttonhole anyway, so I'll do the buttonhole and then see if it fits.
yeah, because I tried to do the side ones and me and the buttonhole weren't getting on. So I was like, I'm going to try a different bit just to try. And this bit went fine, and then you said you had the same issue, so I must have like misread, or I was just tired. So what I've done is I've put my buttons on the wrong side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I've invented something like an invisible button placket.
Yeah.
And buttons, invisible
So
buttons.
you've just put the buttons on the inside
Out. But it looks alright.
It looks great. You've got invisible buttons.
Yeah, I've got invisible, because I actually turned up and I was like, guys, and then they were like, oh, you might end up with like it pinching out, and then Barbara was like, no, so do it this way, and it looks great. So
magic.
I've now got invisible button placket, and I didn't know I was that clever, but I apparently am.
Yeah.
And
we'll do a new video soon. Invisible button
placket. But no, I really like this. I think it's just because I always worry about pinafores because I've got quite broad shoulders. I'm quite boxy when it comes to like this area. So with a boxy pinafore, it doesn't work for me.
But
this has got such a nice curve and shape that it works with my body shape. So I feel so, because like this is me, like this is it's got good pockets. I feel like this is like mum uniform. I can like run around and still feel a bit chic, and it's just really nice, and I'm just very happy with it. I will be making more, and I just really love this detail, like this going through. And I was making Keiko a pinafore for World Book Day. Yeah. And I did it with all the little bits, like the way the pattern told me to. But when I do that again for her, I'm going to do this too.
Try that,
Because it's just such a nice detail. Yeah. And I want to try that again. But I really enjoyed this pattern. Yeah. And it was just really nice. Good. And I'm very happy with it. Yeah. And I'm glad I finally made it, because I brought it probably a year ago. So I'm glad we finally Pattern Pals make sure I do the pattern. Yeah. So it's really good. And it goes really well with my rowing. I like how the crossover at the back hits the V I made on the back of this rowing.
It's really pretty.
Yeah. It works really nice, and I'm just really happy. And now it's your go.
So I'm really pleased with mine too. So I made it out of a chambray, which was really nice to work with, and I've actually had this for a really long time. My mum and dad actually, I think it was one of the ones that they gave me a birthday voucher for, so thanks mum and dad.
Thanks for the new pinafore.
Thanks for the new pinafore that's only taken me about, 3 or 4 years. Never mind. At least I'm using it. But it's nice. I can't speak anymore. It took up less fabric than I thought it would.
Yes.
Like you get it out of less. I don't remember what the fabric requirements were on the pattern. I just remember I had this and I knew I would have enough. So I've got enough left over. Yeah. So they might make a wee jacket out of this, which would be nice.
Oh yeah.
But I really enjoyed making it. I really liked doing the button placket. I don't know why. I just did. It was nice. I had fun. Weird. I know. Pockets were nice. I enjoyed the top stitching too.
And I love your lining fabric that you
I just had a wee, it wasn't big enough to do anything really useful with, but I like to keep bigger bits because, well, let's face it, I like to keep all of the scraps because I don't like putting them in the bin. I do try and take them to be recycled, but they just live in my house for a long time before they make it to any form of recycling.
And it's depending on the size. I always feel like if it's really tiny, then I'm like, recycle, but this sort of perfect.
It was really it wasn't really big enough to do anything else, but I was like, I have enough to fit these pieces in, so that was nice. I do need to shorten the straps because my button sits way up past my shoulder, and I wasn't really thinking about that. I am really petite on the shoulders and like my waist to neck. Whatever you actually call it, is small. Like I guess I'm short waisted is what I'm trying to say, and I didn't really think it would be quite as long as they were. But it's okay. I think I don't know whether or not I'm going to shorten this because obviously I've already sewn the straps, and I don't know if it'd be a pain in the bum to cut them and then try and sew them again. It might not. I could. I don't know if it's worth it, but I'll see. If it annoys me, I'll move it. So I made the size 12 with the D-cup bib because I was on the border between the C and the D-cup, so there's 16 centimetres difference between my full bust and my high bust, and I thought rather than I mean, I probably could have gotten away with the C one, but I think I'm pretty pleased with the one that I made.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great. It was great not having to do any full bust adjustment.
I know, it was great, wasn't it?
That was exciting too. And I don't really think I've got anything else to say. Although I mean, I also think the bust darts are quite high, and I don't know. I might see if I can lower them, just because it sits really high up on me, like way, like almost at the top of my bust, and yeah, I don't know. I'll see. I might try and like what you did and test it. It might be that it just looks better like that, but I'll test it.
I thought it just gives me like a wee boob lift without meaning to. You know,
this is like the tip of the century.
Making them look
your perkier.
Yeah, making them look perkier than they are. No, I'm joking.
Well, but I mean, it does kind of work, but I don't know. I just a bit weirded out about it because the thing is, it's difficult to try it on as you're making it because you make the bib, then you make the skirt, and then you attach it with the waistband. So I did test the fit before I did any top stitching and put the buttonholes. I kind of like put it on and pinned it on, and that's when I kind of noticed. I was like, oh, that's a bit high, but by that point it's kind of too late.
Yeah, to fix that. That's
I mean, like, it's not anything that I'm going to cry about. I'm still going to get loads of wear out of this, and I think it's a really nice. I don't know. I never thought that I would be so excited about a pinafore, just because it just reminds me when I was wee. But it's really nice. It's nice because I work from home. Well, I just work from home. I was going to say I work from home a lot, and I was like, no, I just actually just never leave my house. And it's kind of, I don't know, it feels like quite a nice working from home, running around, comfortable
like an everyday
thing.
Sort of
but it's also but also feel really nice in it. So and I think the shape is quite flattering as well. So I definitely make more of it. But I thought her instructions were pretty great, and I really liked the way that she's lettered all the notches. So when you're forming the pleat, you know exactly which ones you go together, and also it's really helpful for when you're sewing the button placket in, because you can see how far you have to. I mean, you can with the notches anyway, but because they're there. But I just with them being lettered, it just, I don't know, it's just a wee bit clearer.
Yeah, because it can sometimes be confusing if you see like,
especially when there's like
the second notch. Yeah, okay.
You have to then spend a bit more time working it out, which is fine. I mean, it's not, but it was handy having them lettered.
Yes, I agree. When I was doing that button placket, that looked really beautiful. That is now in the bin.
But now you have a really nice zip.
One.
Yeah, my zip is amazing.
Your zip's amazing. So, and I got my buttons from McCulloch & Wallace. It's like they have excellent buttonhole. So that was fun.
They're really cool.
But I couldn't find anything that went with it, so I've kind of gone for like a complimentary pinky kind of colour.
Yeah, because it looks really cool with that t-shirt.
It looks lovely.
Yeah.
But other than that, there was nothing exciting happened, apart from I had a really good time, massively geeked out on the button placket. That was it. And it didn't take that long to turn the straps through, because I read the instructions and she was like, oh, maybe you do this in front of the telly or something.
Mine took ages, but because
your fabric's
thicker, and it was like I was just sitting there going, "This is never going to end." It was fine. It was fine. I need to get one of those pulley thing. You know,
a ruler turner.
What I did on these, I'm not sure if everyone will already know this, but I'll tell you anyway in case you don't. So I've got a really thin ribbon, or any type of sort of cord you can use, and then you stitch that at the top. So you fold it double, obviously, right side to right side. You stitch the ribbon on the inside at the top. So you actually only have to stitch all the way down, but you start at the top like that, stitch the ribbon in, and make sure that the ribbon stays in the fold, stitch all the way down, and then you make sure that the ribbon stays a bit longer, or actually just leave it attached to, I've got a few meters and I just left it attached, and then you just pull the ribbon and you did.
No, I really didn't know about this.
What?
This is like
I feel like this is like everyone knows this, right?
No, there's probably going to be like
this
took
me a minute.
Sometimes
to turn
the thing
inside
is,
out.
if I'm making a ruler loop, then I tie up the thread with a needle. And then I pull a yarn needle through, but it's harder to
ruler loop?
like, you know, the really thin like
like
little strappy things. Yeah, and you also use it for buttons. You know those like button loops?
Yeah, like a thin.
Like a really thin button loop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had to make
Yeah.
a lot when I made my wedding dress.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
was
would have
fun.
been fun.
I've never heard of the ribbon trick.
Yeah, it's like
now I
surprise-
want to
so
try
then
it.
you pull it all the way out, and the only thing that you'll get that is different is that your
Does the
you know-
ribbon stay in?
no. So you pull it at the end. You've got your strap with the right side out, and then stitched with the seam allowance on the inside, and then just a ribbon hanging from it. I did not expect. Otherwise, I would have worked on this. If I saw this coming, I would have found a way to sort of
Bring a
yeah.
demonstration.
So the ribbon is inside. It's encased. Is that encased?
Yeah.
In the fabric, and you pull the ribbon out. Yeah.
So the ribbon is
coming
encased on the right. See, when you sew it right side to right side, the ribbon is in between the right sides.
Yes.
So the ribbon is on the outside when you pull it through.
Yes.
Ah.
And then you
that's
don't
clever.
actually use the ribbon. Yeah,
You
maybe
just cut
that
it off.
much. You
Yeah.
just cut it off.
So I'm gonna go and make myself loads of straps now, so I
Yeah,
can try
all
that
the
out.
straps
All the
everywhere.
straps, just
Yeah.
straps.
Yeah. Whole
and-
garment with straps.
Well,
Strap it
actually,
up.
I see some potential there. Maybe like braid them, like all the straps, and then anyway.
That's too intricate.
Sorry,
Right,
Anyway,
that's for our next vlog.
That's,
Sorry.
that's our next time. So we'll see you next time with our new pattern and some new fabric reveal. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll thank you for all our new viewers because we're really feeling the love at the moment. So
Yeah.
thank you.
And now we're saying bye.
Now we're definitely saying bye.
Okay, definitely bye.
Bye.